Hello, Degens. Welcome to Degenerate Takes. I am the perfect one, AJ, and with me, as always, is a guy that you're all very familiar with, a guy I'm very familiar with. He's the guy with the numbers, the stats, the guy with some of the most degenerate takes that I do know, Mr. Noah Engelbrecht. And Noah, how the hell are you doing today?
AJ, I'm wonderful. This weekend was just so packed full of sports between college football, NFL, and college basketball. It was I was having trouble keeping up with my fingers are tired from switching the channels so often. I mean,
dude, honest to God. And so, like I said before, I work at a bar and I had so many people saying, "Hey, can I get the Notre Dame game on?" And I'm like, bro, like, what Notre Dame are we talking here? Like, we going basketball, we going football. And then they said, "Yo, I need
best, though.
No. And then they'd be like, I need the Wildcats on. How many fucking Wildcats do you think there are in college sports, bro? It's fucking ridiculous. So no, I can't put the fucking Wildcats on because I don't know which Wildcats you're talking about. And neither do you fucking degenerate. At least I know the state that my Wildcats are, okay?
Yeah. Well, speaking of, I mean, you had basketball and football playing at the same time on Friday. So yeah, it's confusing.
Friday and Saturday,
exactly
bro.
What you want.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, dog. It was.
No, because well, our basketball played Friday, Sunday. Our football only played on Friday. But on Friday night, basketball and football were playing. Yeah, they were playing at the same time. So and then
you got like the Northwestern Wildcats, and then you got like 5 different teams Kentucky. That are the Cougars. Yeah, like. I mean, bite me, bro. I don't know which fucking Wildcats are on. Anyway, crazy fucking weekend, dude. Like, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that I think we saw coming, a lot of stuff that I don't think we saw coming. I want to clear the air right now because, okay, we are talking college football in this episode. I do want to clear the air right now. Wake Forest didn't stand a fucking chance in that game.
Well, AJ,
holy shit, dude.
I was about to ask you. So we had 3 top 10 teams get absolutely
just wrecked,
beat down. Oregon, Michigan State, and Wake Forest.
Yeah.
What do you think was the worst loss out of the 3, AJ?
Easily the Oregon one. Easily Oregon, just for the same fact that I don't think anyone who doesn't have a hard on for Michigan State thought Michigan State was winning this football game. I think big brain people like yourself and me both understood what was going on and knew that Ohio State was going to blow them out of the fucking water. And that's why we responsibly bet the house on 21 points. And that's a lot of fucking points.
I did. I mean,
I bet it at 21.
I just with how big that spread was, I took Michigan State to cover 19.5, and that was clearly a mistake.
But. All right, I forgot about that. I did not meaning to rub it in your face that I got that one, but I do think Oregon being fine. not only ranked higher than them in the Pac-12, but also being in the college football playoff. I mean, they're done. Like, they have no shot after this. They're not going to keep a 2-loss Oregon team because they wouldn't keep a 2-loss Alabama team. And so the Pac-12 once again.
Well, the jury isn't entirely settled on that. I personally don't think they can justify putting in a 2-loss Alabama team, but we don't know. I mean, it could happen. So, especially with the losses this weekend, it might make it more possible to put in a 2-loss Alabama team. But
I was talking, so during this Oregon game, I was talking with a guy, one of those situations, a guy that knows a guy that knows a guy that knows a guy, very good knows a guy type situation, and, very strong ties to the committee and everything. And from what I'm hearing from them and stuff, like, they won't keep a 2-loss Oregon team, and they sure as hell won't keep a 2-loss Bama team. They'd rather take in some of these smaller schools just because they've been taking so much heat lately, especially for what they've been doing,
I was going to say, if you're Cincinnati or you're a Cincinnati fan, this weekend could not have gone better for you.
No, it really couldn't have. Cincinnati, unless they lose next week, is a guaranteed lock.
Well, until they get leapfrogged by Oklahoma State after they beat Oklahoma.
Damn true. That is the scenario we do have to look at, bro.
And until you're looking at a 1-loss Oklahoma State team that somehow ends up jumping them.
Yeah,
obviously at this point, Ohio State or Michigan, one of the two of them is in. Most likely Ohio State, because Harbaugh is not going to be able to win that game.
dude, Harbaugh loves losing big games. We've talked about this before.
Wake Forest, their playoff hopes are pretty much dead.
No, not pretty much dead. Let me tell you, as someone who has stuck up for them and has tried my best to make this
they had to go undefeated to have a chances.
Exactly.
And now they're at 2 losses. Now they're completely dead.
Which also, I do want a quick shout out to Wake Forest, because one thing I have noticed during this season is that I think they have the best mascot in college football, the Demon Deacon. I'm a fan.
Don't really agree, but okay.
What's better than that? He comes in on a motorcycle, he fucks shit up.
I don't know, but it's
better than that. It's not fucking Wilbur and Wilma.
I'm a big fan of the live mascots. I like those a lot.
Oh, like USC Trojan and
no, not the ones that are fucking people.
What do you mean the live ones?
I'm talking like the live mascots. Like you got Uga in Georgia. You got fucking
you mean the fucking Bulldog. Dogs and the animals?
Like Ralphie at Colorado.
Yeah, that's they call cool. Ralphie.
Like they run a whole fucking live ass buffalo around their field.
That's pretty badass.
You got what's the fucking name of the longhorn cow that Texas has?
Loser.
Well, okay. Damn, didn't know we were
coming back. Let me go ahead. Horns are all the way the fuck down, dude. Fuck them.
That is a completely different take than from how you were at the beginning of the season. But
listen, football is a fickle thing, dude. I'm a horns all the way down, dude. They're not back.
But yeah, I don't know. I love the live mascots and shit. Anyways,
fair enough.
Dude, Michigan State and Oregon both, if they won out, probably playoff teams. I mean, Oregon for sure. Michigan State, if they had beat Ohio State and then won, their next game and then won the Big Ten championship, they'd be in. Mm-hmm. They'd be in. So, you're looking at that, both teams, but I do think Oregon's is worse because all Oregon had to do was win 3 fucking games against Pac-12 teams. Against Pac-12 teams.
That's all they had to do. That's all they had to fucking do.
Yeah, it was just, oh God, boy, it is for 2 teams that had playoff aspirations still alive, which is like 7 or 8 teams total in the country that still had playoff hopes still alive. And both of them just got neither was the favorite, but they both got absolutely shit on. I do think it's worse for Oregon though, because they were only a 3.5 point dog instead of a 20 point dog. Mm-hmm. But man, it's just I think at this point, we're down to 6-7 teams that even have a chance.
Yeah, dude, it's not a lot.
And like I said, if you're Cincinnati, you loved last weekend because Oregon losing really opens the door. Michigan State doesn't matter as much because one Big Ten team is going to make it in no matter what.
Yeah.
But with Oregon losing, doors open for Cincinnati. I mean, get them. Like I said, Oklahoma State still alive. Oklahoma potentially still alive.
Interesting.
I wouldn't put it past the committee to throw Oklahoma in there.
I wouldn't either at this point, which would be disgusting.
If they win out
10-1 Oklahoma team
lost, well, it would be 12-1 after the Big Ten championship.
Then you can get Cincy out of there.
I mean, like I said, I do think at the end of the day, the committee, if they have a 1-loss Oklahoma team who lost to a good Baylor team, I think Oklahoma would, I think they'd be in over Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And then I do think an undefeated Cincinnati, though, can't be leapfrogged by a 2-loss Bama.
No. I think everyone is kind of at the point where unless some crazy
we talk about this like it's
Bama team.
Well, we talk about this like it's inevitable too. We shouldn't be because Bama could easily beat Georgia in the SEC
They're
championship,
not going to beat Georgia though.
and then you have a one-loss Georgia and a one-loss Bama, and then you have two SEC teams in, no questions asked.
What do you think? Okay, what do you think that spread opens at?
3. I mean, it's going to be a neutral site game.
True.
Although Bama did kind of struggle again this week. It wasn't as close as the 7 points the final score says. Should have been a 14-point game realistically. So
realistically,
against a ranked Arkansas team. So
true.
The difference is Bama's not blowing people out the way Georgia is this season.
Exactly. That's why I think the spread's honestly going to open at 7.5.
But
we will see that we are not line makers. If we were line makers, we would clean Vegas out. Another game I want to talk about. Everyone's been so hype on this Kansas State team, dude, and they just didn't really stand a chance from Baylor. Baylor just kind of.
Who's everybody?
They were the favorites in this game. They were the favorites in another game.
No, this game was a pick'em. I mean, when we did our degenerate bets, it was
closed,
a pick'em.
fair
I don't know
enough.
if it changed.
They closed as favorites. Kansas State did 2-point favorites.
Oh, okay. Well, I took Baylor money line, so
I took Baylor money line too, and so we were fine from the get-go. It's just crazy how, that Baylor team is dangerous, dude. If they didn't lose a couple games, they would be in this conversation too. But I guess that's a lot of these teams. Looking at it, Raging Cajuns they covered. You love to see that. Pittsburgh doing their thing. Iowa. No, it was just kind of I'm just excited for rivalry week at this point. We're just getting to. This was kind of a taste of what next week's going to be with Ohio playing Michigan State and stuff. But we're about to get into the nitty gritty of it, dude. This is about to be some in the trenches football, and I'm excited to see it. Where's the Iron Bowl this year?
In Auburn, I think.
Oh, but Bo Nix destroyed something, right? What was he injured with?
I don't know. Is he?
I thought he broke something.
Paying enough attention, but. Rivalry week is always interesting. All these games seem to be played very tight for the most part. They're not all tight, but most of them are usually way tighter than you would expect. Because when it comes down to these big time rivalries, just everyone's playing harder, and these games just mean more. Obviously, the big headliner, Ohio State, Michigan. Because that's probably the only game that has real playoff implications. And other than that, you know what I honestly think is the second most interesting thing this week?
Let me hear it.
The Big Ten West. So there is a possible scenario that Purdue versus Indiana determines whether or not Minnesota or Wisconsin go to the Big Ten championship.
Ooh.
So the reason for that is if there's a 2 or 3-way tie in the Big Ten West, Wisconsin would go. Now, if there's a 4-team tie, including Iowa, Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Purdue, that would send Minnesota to the Big Ten championship game. So
we could row the boat into the championship.
It'll be very interesting.
I
don't know.
Row the boat into the championship game. No, you're telling me there is a chance I can get my oar out for the championship game?
Potentially for Minnesota to get their ass handed to them by Ohio State.
I'll still get the oar out, bro. I'm not going to bet on them, but I'm going to get the row out, bro.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. First thing is, Iowa and Nebraska play Friday night. Nebraska is the favorite in that game.
Shit.
Yes, 3-8 Nebraska is favored over Iowa. So I mean, if Iowa loses, that really opens the doors of possibilities because, in that case, if Wisconsin beats Minnesota, we'll be at that game, the Wisconsin-Minnesota game. If Wisconsin beats Minnesota, Wisconsin's into the Big Ten championship game. Doesn't matter. If Minnesota beats Wisconsin, then Purdue has to beat Indiana to send Minnesota to the Big Ten championship game.
Shit. Well, I'm hoping for it, bro. That would be amazing. Fuck Iowa too. They've cost me a lot of money this
Yeah.
season. All right, so really quick, dude.
Purdue has no chance. Iowa makes it if they win and Minnesota beats Wisconsin. So Purdue's got no chance at even making it, but they could hold all the cards. They could hold all the cards in their hand to what happens.
You hate to see it, dude. You really hate to see that.
Or you love to see it, depending on what side of things you're on. I mean, depending on who you're cheering for and who Purdue losing or winning benefits. So
very true. Very true. All right, one more thing that I really want to cover about college football real quick, because I just accidentally fell down a fucking rabbit hole, dude. So I was just looking to see.
I thought you were going to say a flight of stairs, but
I mean, yeah, it feels like I have, just because, I mean, Bo Nix, like, I honestly just got a lot more respect for him. So he is going to be out with an ankle injury that he sustained in the Mississippi State game. But I Googled his name, and he's under a shit ton of fire now. And the Alabama quarterback, what's his name? Bryce something? Bryce Young? Yeah, Bryce Young is even responding to it. Right. Fucking Bo Nix comes out and he says something is different with SEC officiating in Alabama games, and then goes on to continue to accuse SEC officials of calling the games in Bama's favor. Which, I mean, you can look at it one of two ways. That's a sore loser looking for an excuse already. The other way of it is looking at it like, well, duh, dude. Like, yeah, I could have fucking told you that one, bud. It's just something kind of everyone needs.
Or hear me out. Maybe the Alabama players are just bigger, faster, stronger, and more talented than most of the teams they're playing, and that's why they're winning.
No way. No, it has everything to do with officiating, I know, that was, bro. How dare you insinuate that one team is better than another team? How dare you, bro?
That was such a hot take. I'm so sorry for that.
That was such a hot take, bro. It was on fire. Like, how dare you even suggest that these like 23-year-olds that are 6'5", 300 pounds on the O line and D line, and these wide receivers that can run 4.3 40s or 3.4 40s at this point, and these quarterbacks that can throw the ball 80 yards are just better than some other team from down the road. No, it has everything to do with officiating. Come on, bro. Anyway. Yeah, so Alabama's going to smoke the shit out of Auburn at home. Can't wait to see what's that spread at? That's got to be at 25, 27.5, right?
No, this is the Iron Bowl.
You're right. It's like 90.5.
Unlike Ohio State, Michigan, where Michigan just gets fucking shellacked every year. The Iron Bowl usually tends to be like way more competitive than it should be.
Usually, that's true. It usually is. Oh, let's find the Iron Bowl. What is that line at?
Like, I swear Auburn plays this game within a touchdown every single year. Whether they win or lose, it's like a one-score game most years.
That's going to be prime time probably, right?
Especially being in Auburn, like.
All right. No, yeah, wow, 17 points.
I'd take Auburn to cover 17 in that one. I don't even care who the quarterback is, man.
Auburn at home covering the spread has been cashing this year. That'll be something we definitely cover on Degenerate Bets this week. Noah, before we wrap up this episode, Noah, is there anything else you want to cover on college football?
Not really. I mean, I could talk a lot about a lot of the teams that are going on, but at the end of the day, there's not, we're late enough in the seasons. There's not a whole lot that has enough implications to put stress on. Exactly. Other than we've got our 6 or 7 teams up near the top. A couple lurkers that could potentially make moves. We've covered that. Oklahoma State being one of them. Notre Dame's a potential lurker that could come in, but ultimately, I think that head-to-head loss.
I don't think so.
I think that head-to-head loss to Cincinnati will ultimately be the difference maker that'll keep Notre Dame out, because I don't think you can put Notre Dame in and keep Cincinnati out if Cincinnati remains undefeated.
No, you just can't do it. Can't do it. Can't do it.
I mean, other than that, unless you have some weird scenario happen where you have like an Iowa, Wisconsin, or Minnesota somehow knocking off Ohio State, then the committee's just going to be like fucking shit in their pants because they're not going to know what to do. Because it's like, do they put in the Big Ten winner at 3 or 4 losses? like say Minnesota makes the Big Ten championship, beats Ohio State, and they've got losses to Illinois and Bowling Green. You go put in a team that lost to fucking Bowling Green?
You can't.
I mean, I feel like you can't. But then it's like, okay, so are you going to put in a team that didn't even win the Big Ten?
I mean, you might have to at this point, but we'll see how all the scenarios work out this weekend. We will cover more college football next time on Degenerate Bets, our college football, because we've just been killing it kind of this weekend. Not so much for me, but in general, we've been killing college football and I'm excited for it. So we will see you next. Oh, and by the way, I guess I have to do this because if I'm a real host, like I got to do this stuff. Follow us Instagram, Spotify, YouTube, Twitter, Degenerate Takes, Degen Takes, or
OnlyFans.
on TikTok. Not yet, Noah. We don't have the following down.
That's right.
Yet. We're waiting on that.
We haven't set it up yet.
100 subscribers and we'll get an OnlyFans for our content. All right, but we got a while to go for that. Also follow us on TikTok at Degenerate Takes 69, where you see all of our daily picks and bets and where you can find all of my shirts. I have a special shirt, not one shirt, Noah, not 2 shirts, but 3 shirts for the entire NFL slate.
Like AJ.
Yeah, honestly, bro. I made these shirts, bro, and I looked at them and I was like, God damn. I'm going to get roasted for this, but I don't even give a shit anymore, dude. It's fine. We're fine. Anyway.
It is what it is.
Covering NFL on the next Degenerate Takes, and then another one we'll do on college basketball for the week because we got some tournaments coming up. We will see you next time on Degenerate Takes.